to produce scrumptious and wholesome beverages. So check us out at mymajesties.com. That's MyMajesties.com. My Majesties, an Urban Passport member.
Can I get the now bar, please?
$1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Whether it's advice on managing your anxiety or tools to help you stay grounded, Coping-19 provides a range of resources and self-care tips to help you cope with this pandemic. We can help. Find the resources that work best for you at coping-19.org.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
This is Carlos Brown, letting you know that we're on the move. You can now catch the Carlos Brown Show beginning this July on the Black College Sports Network each and every Saturday from 11 to 1 Eastern Time. That's 10 to 12 Central Time. Same time, new place. On Facebook at the Carlos Brown Show and Black College Sports Network. Online at www.mybcsn.net and on the BCSN app available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. Number 15?
Never not working.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Head & Shoulders scalp shield, never not working.
people that don't get to see me. Trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching say, make this for my people that don't get to see me. Trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching. Hey, motivation.
I'm attorney Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice.
Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on? Sure. It's wireless. Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password? Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable.
That's a really tight spot.
Don't worry. I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your family.
Now, you can't live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember they can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft. Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
Are you ready? It's time. The inaugural Urban NerdCon is coming to Montgomery, Alabama, July 29th through the 31st. Blurs, nerds, and geeks from across the universe will converge on the capital city to see celebrity guests such as The Last Dragon, Tybok, Megan Tandy, and voice actor Dave Fennoy.
Hey, how you doing? I'm voice actor Dave Fennoy with a shout out to all my geeks, freaks, and urban nerds. Just want to let you know I'm going to be there and I want to meet you at the Urban NerdCon Gaming and Cosplay event. It's happening July 29th through the 31st in Montgomery, Alabama. Hope you want to meet me as much as I want to meet you.
So join us by visiting theurbannerdcon.net for ticket and vendor information. This will be the premier Blurred event in the universe. Theurbannerdcon.net. Our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone's con. See you there.
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
Majesty is a premium health and wellness tea line focused on bringing delicious yet healthy tea blends to the community. Filled with an abundance of vitamins and antioxidants, we work to blend teas with exotic spices and fruits to produce scrumptious and wholesome beverages. So check us out at mymajesties.com. That's MyMajesties.com. My Majesties, an Urban Passport member.
Can I get the now bar, please? $1. Have a good one. Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Whether it's advice on managing your anxiety or tools to help you stay grounded, Coping-19 provides a range of resources and self-care tips to help you cope with this pandemic. We can help. Find the resources that work best for you at coping-19.org.
It's like a loot machine.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
This is Carlos Brown, letting you know that we're on the move. You can now catch the Carlos Brown Show beginning this July on the Black College Sports Network each and every Saturday from 11 to 1 Eastern Time. That's 10 to 12 Central Time. Same time, new place. On Facebook at the Carlos Brown Show and Black College Sports Network. Online at www.mybcsn.net and on the BCSN app available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
You see,
A pleasant good morning to everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Carlos Brown, joined by Charles Edmond. Charles, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, it is a good morning. I finally got myself straight to get on. So, hey, it's all about making adjustments sometimes. And just the word of preparation means a lot. So, with that being said, here's what's coming up on the Carlos Brown Show. I simply call it the guest menu. Charles Edmond, of course, joining us for the duration of the show, unless Charles says otherwise. Then, following Charles Edmond, or actually our first guest of today's show, he's Southern University's new commitment, defensive tackle Andy Boykins Jr. Andy Boykin Jr. Let me get that right. He committed to Southern University, and I reached out to him to get him on the show. So he is joining the Carlos Brown Show. Defensive tackle, a transfer from the University of Arkansas, committing to Southern University, Andy Boykin Jr. And then, of course, in hour number 2, regular guest coach Van Pettaway. We'll have another discussion on the NBA and free agency. Charles, it's still in a set pattern, waiting to see where Kevin Durant, among others, where will he end up? Kyrie Irving, where will he end up? And then, of course, other news as far as the teams that are still hoping to get the signatures of those couple of players. And then, last but not least, coming up, he's Southern University's new punter, Robins Beauplain. Now, Charles, if I'm not mistaken, his career, he was at Alcorn State University, transfer portal, now at Southern University, and working hard, looking at some video that he posted from social media. A tremendous punter, and boy, looking forward to seeing him live in action in A.W. Mumford Stadium. With that being said, Charles, I'll go to now next what's trending here on the Carlos Brown Show. Alabama A&M names Kalisa Stanfield as interim AD at Alabama A&M. So I think maybe it was you or another guest last week, a couple of weeks ago, talked about maybe the direction. Maybe it was Coach Petaway saying that they may go with an interim AD until they officially announce one full time. So congratulations to Kalisa Stanfield as interim AD at Alabama A&M. Congratulations also in order for the director or the commissioner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, Charles McClellan, named the chair of Division I men's basketball committee for 23 and 2024. So congratulations to Dr. Charles McClellan. That's a powerful position that he's going to be now the chairperson, vice chair in 2023, and then transcends into the chair of the men's basketball committee. Also, the NBC Sports and the Bayou Classic announces a new 3-year media rights that will go up until 2024. I did reach out to Director of Athletics at Southern University, Roman Banks, and I honestly asked him, have they settled on a time yet? They have not yet. No news on that. But the news that now the Bayou Classic, NBC Sports, Southern and Grambling State University, now they have a 3-year media rights deal. And then trending here on the Carlos Brown Show, wow, former Southern University player Bradley Coleman, 29, lost his life in his hometown of Norcross, Georgia. He played at Southern University 2015 and 2016. Just a senseless act. Once again, when we talking about life matters, and I won't go into any more of the details of what happened, but a father, former Southern University player, is just a tragic way to lose your life at 29 years of age. And then Rashard Anderson passes away, former Jackson State defensive back and a member of the Carolina Panthers. He succumbed to cancer at the age of 45, and got a chance to see both Bradley Coleman and Rashard Anderson play. And man, you know, when I got the news, I immediately thought about 1999 and the first SWAC football championship between Southern and Jackson State, and what a matchup between him and Michael Hayes. But tragically, both men are no longer in the present. That's what's trending here on the Carlos Brown Show. Charles, man, a lot of trending information going on. Your thoughts on any of them that you want to have a few words or commentary on?
Well, all I can say, Carlos, is that if you've been following social media and sports news, that you have read and heard about players passing away here lately. This kind of been a trend the last few weeks. It seems like on your show, the last 2 or 3 weeks, someone is passing away either through natural causes or tragically, and it's unfortunate that that we're going through these times. But this is just kind of where we are, and so it's unfortunate, and you just have to deal with that and compress that as the best way you can. Dr. McClellan, I think that's terrific. That's tremendous. You kind of sensed that some stuff was coming just based on some of his committee appointments. You kind of sensed that something was maybe brewing just by virtue of what he's doing in the SWAC office. You talked about Alabama A&M, with an interim athletic director. Their former AD Byron Hicks is now working for the SWAC office. And so you kind of sensed that something was brewing. So maybe he was putting things in place knowing that he would be committed to this, even though it's not a full-time thing, but it's still a lot involved. So, I mean, I think for Dr. McClellan, I just think he's on the up and up. There's no question about it. I'm sure come March, when ESPN and CBS puts out the 68, I'm sure Dr. McClellan's face will be all over that, trying to explain who was in, who was out. So I'm really looking forward to that. So there's a lot of good stuff happening, though, as far as the SWAC is concerned, with Media Day. We're 5 days away. Looking forward to that. Got my picks and predictions ready to go, and looking forward to talking to all the coaches and players with Media Day coming up. A lot of, this time last year, Carlos, was a lot of drama, with Coach Sanders and all that coming off the spring. I don't think you're going to see as much of that. It's probably some other stuff brewing in the background that, in terms of who was credentialed and all that other stuff. We won't get into that. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to seeing all of our colleagues, looking forward to seeing you and Dr. Cavill and, BJ Jones, Charles Bishop. It's really a great time. And I can just remember when it was just a couple of us on Media Row. Now you got 3 or 4 rooms dedicated towards the media, whether it's Radio Row, you're going to be there. I mean, it's just going to be a great time had by all come Wednesday and Thursday for Media Day.
Yeah, and one of the things that I like about SWAC Football Media Day is, getting a chance to see your colleagues. In some cases, you hadn't seen them in maybe a year or two. The media interest has been tremendous. I could remember when only just a few, when I say a few, maybe 40 or 50 of the media that's been there. Now, last year, over 400 credentials or something, somewhere along those lines that were at SWAC Football Media Day. And I think it will be a slight increase. There's always something going on in the room. Sometimes information is new for the first time doing SWAC Football Media Day. But once again, I just enjoy getting the chance to see everybody. It'll be interesting. You mentioned predictions, and that'll be released. But I think this year, of course, Coach Sanders it will be at his second SWAC Football Media Day. But I guess the darling will be Hugh Jackson, Grambling State coached in the NFL. I'm sure he will gather a lot of attention. I'll get my beeline straight to the usual Southern University football coach, Coach Dooley. No stranger, but he will be one of the best dressed football coaches there. And so his demeanor is kind of laid back, quiet. We just got to remember all of these coaches, and then my opportunity to talk to some of the players throughout the conference. So it is a great time to be in the conference. HBCUs enrollment is up all over the country at most HBCUs. They're having problems of housing. Large freshman classes been kind of gathering. So it is a good time. Expansion in college athletics, conference realignment. I'm sure that's going to be talked about. So quite a few topics to discuss. But Charles, if we could just kind of look at it right now, just right now, Jackson State gets picked, a no-brainer in the East. FAMU, a close second. Can I say close second? I'll just do the top two. And then on the West, I think that is going to be the bigger question. Defending champions, Prairie View come out of the West. Southern University, they have with Coach Dooley at the helm, outstanding recruiting. Then you got Grambling State. Then you got Alcorn. Again, no one's really talking about Alcorn except for the Alcorn Knights. So prediction there. I really believe it's going to be, accuse me of being a homer there. I just think Southern University is going to get picked first. And I think number 2 is going to be Alcorn. Just my prediction. So if that doesn't end up that way, we'll point back to this time, Charles. I was dead wrong. Because hell, I was wrong last year about picking Jackson State.
I was too. I
In
was
the
too.
East. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I've thought about this over the last few days, and your predictions are not off base. Of course, I think we all know who's going to be picked to win the East is Jackson State. Here's my thought about the West, and you got to look at the voters. Okay, so we all know, or most of us know, that the voters consist of the head coaches and sports information directors. So you got new coaches, obviously Eddie Robinson Jr. at Bama State. Dooley, he's not unfamiliar with the SWAC. He's at Southern. You got, of course, Hugh Jackson. Then you got Boba McDowell. So they'll be voting. You got new SIDs. In the West, here's my thought. And I think Eric Dooley's a part of both. I think one of two teams are going to be picked to win the West. I think it's either going to be Southern, as you mentioned, or Prairie View. And I think if Southern is picked to win the West, it's going to be because of Eric Dooley, who won the West last year at Prairie View. He takes that to Southern. Those who pick Prairie View will pick Prairie View in spite of Eric Dooley leaving. And when I say that, because even though they lost quite a bit of talent, Dumas is at Southern. You had Pass that was there. I think some of the voters might feel like there's still enough talent on that roster. And with the uncertainty in the West of who's going to be at quarterback at Alcorn, at Southern, at Grambling, I think some would say that there's enough talent there because of the uncertainty for Prairie View to win it again, even though I have a new coach. So I think some would say Southern because of Eric Dooley, and some would say Prairie View in spite of Eric Dooley. And I think one of those two teams will be picked. It's just my opinion. Of course, I'm going with Alcorn. I think Fred McNair knows quarterbacks, and he'll get that quarterback situation squared away. It's going to be between one of two quarterbacks is going to be either Aaron Allen or McCavian Quinn that will start against Stephen F. Austin. I think we'll get that thing figured out. We're going to have to, because you got Tulane, you got McNeese State coming behind that, and then you got UAPB at home. So I'm going to pick, of course, Alcorn. But I do think it's going to be, as far as the prognosticators, who's going to be picked to win the West, I think it's going to be either Southern or Prairie View. I think there's just too much uncertainty with the other teams, especially at the quarterback position, even though most of us have uncertainty. But I do think because of Dooley and what he's done, I think that will play a factor in terms of who I think the prognosticators will pick to win the West. Just my thought. It might be far-reaching. It may be way off base, but I thought about it over the last week or so, and I think the Dooley factor, like you say, Carlos, and Dooley we trust. You said it last week. I do think that'll play a factor.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have a pick in the predicted order of finish. So you're trying to get into the minds, maybe trying to figure out how the coaches and the SIDs are going to make their picks. But that's the way it is. But we shall see. We shall see. Going to take the first time out of today's Carlos Brown show. When I return, scheduled to visit with Andy Boykin Jr., commitment for Southern University, and a huge commitment as far as, I always talk about wants and needs. And on the D-line, about 6'4", about 310, former three-star, coming out of high school. And Devin Cotton, a name most Southern Knights remember, and if you're in the conference, you remember, banged up his knee, had surgery, and now is going to be out, at least from Southern University's point of view, out to October. I just think it's going to be out the whole season. So that's a area that Mr. Boykin Jr. can fill. So with that being said, let's take a quick time out. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show on the Black College Sports Network.
You see, Head & Shoulders has Scalp Shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. Number 15?
Never not working.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield, never not working.
That don't get to see me. Trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching say, make this for my people that don't get to see me. Trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching. Hey, 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 hey. Motivation.
I'm attorney Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable. That's a really tight spot. Don't worry, I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your fam.
Majesties, an Urban Passport member.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We're going to be joined very shortly by Andy Boykin Jr. Once again, a big-time commitment for Southern University at defensive tackle. Charles, I always like to see when teams get the O-line or D-line, either signing them out of high school or through the transfer portal, because that is huge. Because we talked about it last week. So goes the O-line and the D-line on your football team. So goes the football team.
Absolutely. And, again, I've said this to you and I've said this publicly. I like what Dooley is doing, in terms of his staff and just the players that he's got coming in. It's going to be interesting to see how that quarterback battle is going to go. But I like what he's doing. I like the transfers. I like what a lot of teams are doing. I like what Alcorn is doing. I've got their depth chart here, and I've seen that these players are players in the cafeteria here the last couple of weeks, and they look really big, and they're rounding out into shape. So, you can't get it done unless you get it done up front. There's no question about it. And I think Southern's doing a really nice job in building that roster, and that's going to even make Media Day even more intriguing when you talk about who's going to do what or who's not going to do what. It'll be interesting to see how all this rounds out into shape.
Wait a minute. Alcorn has a depth chart already from the spring. Okay.
I have, this is a depth chart from a couple of weeks ago. It's scribbled on and all of that. I talked with our OC, Elliot Ratton, and he gave me the depth chart as of right now. And, but just looking at these guys, clearly, for the Braves, they wanted to get more beef up front. We've talked about having smaller offensive linemen getting out in space with this zone read stuff. Well, they've gone back to getting huge, heavy, big guys almost as tall as I am, definitely heavier than I am. So I think that's the way Alcorn is looking at it. And of course, you could have Aaron Allen start at quarterback, who's more of a pocket passer. So you're going to have max protection. So I think, the Braves got it right, and we'll see how it all comes together. But the uncertainty of a lot of teams at the quarterback position, that leads you to even beef up the O-line even more.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Competition, fall camp, and I know coaches probably have an idea of who they have penciled in as starters. But I like the battle for competition. I like when in the fall camp when it starts. Most important to me, this is just my opinion, it's always been that way. If you know who you got penciled in as starters or who you would like to see as starters, and as I stated, the competition, you want to see that. But then that second unit, if someone goes down, be it an injury early on, can quality backups come in and be number one? It's a difference, sometimes between the first unit and the second unit, but you don't want to have a big drop off. And this is one of the things I like with what Coach Dooley is building, and the staff, particularly on the defensive side. If you just kind of look at some of the pre-fall camp numbers, you could literally be looking at 8 defensive linemen. 8 defensive linemen, and that means two units,
Yeah.
and you won't have a big drop off, and that'll be a great thing. There we have. He's joined us now. Appreciate it, Andy Boykin and Jr. Just talking about Andy about D line and added depth, but. Pleasure to have you on the Carlos Brown Show. And Andy, talk about your journey to Southern University.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for having me on the show. It's a blessing to be on here. But my Southern journey, it was a little hard to get here because I got a son I'm about to have on Monday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And just going on and switching schools, especially being, far away from home, because I'm from LaGrange, Georgia. Yeah, it was a little hard, but the first time I hit the portal, Coach Allen Clark, he texted me, but I didn't see it right away, so I had committed to East Tennessee State, and I left there and hey Coach Clark, I was like, hey, I'm trying to do this thing, so me and him linked up, and it's official now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I looked on social media, and and then I saw the commitment. I was like, whoa, a former short defensive lineman myself. I just know that's just an important uh, position. And you talked about Coach Clark. Man, he trains a lot of NFL prospects and a great young coach. Uh, just talk about your relationship with him.
Oh yeah, that's my guy right there. Ever since he started recruiting me, it's been number love. Him and Coach Dooley, they showed me number love, been completely honest with me. So making the switch to Southern, it was real easy. It wasn't nothing hard about the decision because I know when I go down there, they're gonna treat me like family. Coach Ladden already treat me like a little brother already. So when I get down there, I know it's just gonna still be the same.
Now, I'm going to ask you this, Andy. What do you bring to for those that just tuning in? What will you bring to Southern University's defensive line?
Hey, I bring a lot of power, grit, and when it comes to the D line, we shut shit down this shit. Excuse my language, but we shut shit down this shit.
Well, you know what I like the sound of that. And the other guy you see on the screen, he Charles Edmond. He calls football games for Alcorn State, who has in the past, and I emphasize the past, have had a lot of success against Southern University. Charles, I'm sure you want to interact with Andy Boykin Jr.
Yeah. Well, obviously, just talk about the transition. I mean, you got a lot going on right now, as you mentioned. How do you kind of deal with everything that's going on with your life and balancing that and football?
I just been putting God first. God has blessed me to bring a child into this world, so I've been feeling like I've been having to make a lot of changes to myself because not only being the best football player, but being the best man for my son is very important to me. So I just put God first, put my family first, and everything else will come together.
Who's kind of
Andy,
mentored you in terms of just trying to keep you on the straight and narrow? I mean, I know you got a pretty good support system. Talk about that.
My dad, he's always on me hard. My mom as well, but mainly my dad. He always on me hard. Make sure grades good, football. So when it comes to like a mentor that's outside of football, let's say my pops, we talk good, but in football, I got a mentor. His name is J.C. Copeland. He played at LSU back in the day, like right before Odell got there. So that's why I'm a little familiar with Baton Rouge. So
Well, that's interesting because I wondered, have you visited the university yet? And if you have, what kind of stood out to you since you said you kind of familiar with Baton Rouge?
I haven't visited Southern. I visited LSU back when I was in my recruitment days. So I love Baton Rouge. I love the food. I love everybody. It's just a family atmosphere down there in Baton Rouge. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, traffic now is a lot different with a growing city. Visiting with Andy Boykin Jr. here, commitment for Southern University, and Andy, the strengths. And I always ask players about their strengths and what they have to work on. In your case, what do you what is your strength and would you like to work on to make you a better player?
I ain't thought about this in a little while, but I feel like my strength, is my power, my get off. That helps me a lot. Because coming from the SEC, you gotta have all that. Because even in practice, they're gonna try to dog you. So those are my two biggest strengths, and some stuff I want to work on, my hand placement, and really just my pass rush overall. And I think my good friend Jason Dumas will be able to help me with that.
Oh, yeah. Jason Dumas, um, preseason All American by many publications. And when Charles asked you, when I was introducing Charles to you, and when I mentioned to you that Alcorn State, now I'm going to go in this direction. It is very popular now playing at HBCUs. Enrollments are up all over the place. Talk about the excitement of now being able to, compete against competition in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Alcorn State was mentioned, but Jackson State, FAMU. Just talk about that competition and you're looking to face it.
HBCUs now compared to back in the day, HBCUs weren't really just kind of looked at. It wasn't your first choice to go to school. But now, present day, we got a lot of transfers coming to HBCUs. Like Jackson State just got the number one player in the country, Travis Hunter. And everybody else, FAMU, Alcorn, they all got some great players, great coaches. So now that I'm in the SWAC, there's going to be a lot of great competition. There's going to be a lot of close games like that. And it's just going to be a lot of competitive fun.
Well, you're absolutely right. It is very successful now to be in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Is there any particular game you're looking forward to, or will you say, when I always ask this question, look, every one of them, the first game, every game is important. But once again, Jackson State, a big game on the road, Veterans Memorial, and then the second game of the season back in the SEC against LSU.
To me, I can't really choose a game that I'm really looking forward to. I'll just name the biggest three games I'm looking forward to. LSU first, because of course, we're back in the SEC. Great team, great coaches. Just got a new head coach in Brian Kelly, and I also have two former teammates that transferred from Arkansas over to LSU, and Greg Brooks and Joe Fouché. So, looking forward to getting back out there with them. But as far as the swag, I'll say the biggest game I'm excited for is JSU.
Wow. Charles, I mean, hey, I couldn't agree more with that Jackson State because everybody knows how I feel. Although they are HBCU brethren, that one, I'm predicting now a record crowd, guys,
Yeah.
for that game against Jackson State. And then let's not forget about FAMU, Alcorn. Charles will be in Baton Rouge. Just Charles, a tremendous time to be in HBCUs and HBCU football.
Yeah, I mean, just talk about that a little bit. I kind of figured you would say the LSU game because that's week 2. I'm sure the butterfly. Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Like, how excited are you to come back to Tiger Stadium? And I mean, it seats 102,000. It's going to be 90,000 there at least. How exciting are you for to come back to Baton Rouge for that one? That's the game. That's one of the games I want to see. I won't be able to see, but just for more selfish reasons, because I want to see Southern and LSU on the same football field. Just a selfish reason for me, but I'm sure that game's really gonna have you jacked up for sure.
Yeah, that game really gonna be really important because for some people who are draft prospects on our team this year, that'll be a big game for them. Because you go out, ball out against the SEC, LSU, we in Death Valley, so it's like you go and ball out in that game, the scouts gonna be looking because the scouts are already looking at the LSU player. So you go in, let's say Jason go in and have like 7 sacks. Jason just his draft stock just up there. So it's like that's a big game. So and then just being back in Baton Rouge, playing in Baton Rouge, is very exciting because Baton Rouge lit. Don't nobody really realize. Everybody listening to Young Boy, they just be like, okay, that's the only thing coming out of Baton Rouge, and it's not. You go down to Baton Rouge, you'll see a totally different world out there.
Well, that's interesting. I've been here all my life, but it's not about me. It's not about Charles. It's about how people your age view and look at Baton Rouge. And when you get here, but before you get here, is there anything that, hey, like we always talk about off season conditioning and off season building toward the season? Is there anything special that you're doing right now to get ready for fall camp?
I'm just making sure my conditioning is up because I wasn't able to come up there right away. I gotta wait till almost fall camp to get up there. So I'll be a little bit behind. So that's the biggest thing. I'm making sure I got it intact, my condition, because I know my whole D line gonna hold me to a high standard. I'm gonna hold them to a high standard. So I just want to make sure that's the biggest thing because everything else will take care of itself.
Now, football wise, you just talked about it. Decided from the academic side, decided on a major, what you're going to major in at Southern University.
Uh, I'm a communications major with a minor in Black American Studies. So that's what I'm majoring in right now. I'll be a junior this year, so getting closer to
That means he's
the
gonna be on
ultimate goal.
TV, Carlos.
Wait a minute, say it again. And it's going to be on TV.
Yeah,
Hey,
communications
he can
major,
speak to you about
broadcasting, all that.
communications.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's a great thing, communications. And hey, one day, after your football playing days are over with, and uh, hey, television maybe is a good thing that you can get into. The radio, there are podcasters everywhere now. You have any thoughts about after your playing days are over with?
Yeah, after my playing day is over, I want to be a reporter for ESPN. They make good money, and then eventually I want to branch off and do my own thing, to own my own boss. Because my girlfriend, she really doesn't know yet, but once my son gets 10 years old, I'm gonna start a podcast with him. Me and him gonna do our podcast every week. So once I do that and do my ESPN gig, it'll really just be me and my son doing our podcast.
Hey, I'm gonna make sure I tune in to that. I relatively won't be 80 years old by then, but 10 years from now, yeah. I can still have my wits with me and enjoy uh, the podcast. Who's your favorite pro athlete? I know you mentioned a mentor, but who do you like as far as you would like to pattern your game after or consult with that person?
Aaron Donald with a mixture of Kenny Clark.
Hmm. Not bad, huh, Charles? Not bad.
Cause it's like,
Yeah.
you watch Aaron Donald and he dominate on Sundays, Monday Night Football. He dominate no matter what. But everybody kind of sleep on Kenny Clark because he that big guy. You got Aaron Donald
Mhm.
playing the same position, but Kenny Clark, he that big guy. He got that good get off. He got great power. He just an overall great DT. So I feel like the mixture of those two, those are my two favorites.
Well, at the end of the season, it's the Bayou Classic, the granddaddy of HBCU classics, at least in my humble opinion. It's fourth down. Grambling State needs a first down late in the game, and you come in and you blank the quarterback. How wouldn't that be great? To win the game, they don't get the first down. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, because the problem Grambling got is if I don't get him, Jason gonna get him. I know that for sure. If I don't touch him, Jason gonna touch him.
Well, Andy, it's been a pleasure coming here on the show, committing to Southern University, D tackle. We often talk about wants versus needs, and I would put this in the category of needs to help out with the defensive line. And to be honest with you, and looking kind of figuring out about the one and two deep depth chart, it really doesn't matter, and it's just my opinion. because if you're looking at 8 interior defensive linemen, everybody's going to play, and it keeps people fresh and you can roll them in. But I think your impact will be felt coming to Southern University. Final closing comments for you, as if you're addressing the Jaguar Nation who are watching.
Hey man, I just want to say thank you, Jaguar Nation, for welcoming me with open arms. And it's a big season ahead. We finna try to bring the HBCU championship back to Baton Rouge, man.
I would love that. It's just quite simple as that. Get a chance to go to the Celebration Bowl again. And Andy, I've been to basically every Celebration Bowl, minus the one that was canceled during the pandemic. And I've supported that bowl game. But Charles will tell you, I often talk about it. Wow, it would be great to see Southern University in that Celebration Bowl. And so it's a great bowl, the festivities, but it will be even special if Southern University is there. So on that note, continue to be safe. We'll see you when you get down to Baton Rouge. Blessings to you, your family. Congratulations on becoming a father real soon, and to your parents and family. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say thank y'all for having me on the show, because out of all the people you picked, you picked me to come on the show. So I think that's a blessing, and just the kind of people y'all are. So, and I also watched the show before. I ain't want to tell you, but I don't watch the show multiple times. So I've been waiting to kind of get on here.
Oh, okay. Well. Thank you. I've got to get better, but you know what? Hey, you always got to get better with what you're doing. Never settle. But hey, I appreciate that. That made my day. Thank you, sir. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right. Thank you. That was Andy Boykin Jr. And Charles, when you talk to a student athlete for the first time, it's the first time you're talking to them and they're on the show. So you're trying to get a feel, try to fill out certain things, but most definitely he'll help Southern University.
Even, you know what? I mean, we just saw the headshot. We haven't seen the body. And just looking at him and just his football acumen, coming from an SEC school, I mean, that just adds to the depth that in Southern, that was one of the Achilles heels for Southern last year, defense. They couldn't get a stop in the Bayou Classic at the end there. So, for Coach Dooley, he's an offensive mind, but that defense has to get better. And that piece right there, and you talked about Dumas, one of the best defensive players in the league, transferring from Prairie View to Southern University. Man, oh man. You add that and you get some beef up front. I know you're a big up front trenches guy, Carlos. If that all rounds out into shape, man, Southern could be in for something pretty special.
Wants versus needs. You'll always hear me talk about that. And, you still have Jordan Lewis returning on one end. You got the Brown kid who transferred in from Nickel State. There's several other ones. And I like the depth that they're building defensively. And when I had Coach Miller on and Coach Graves, and particularly Coach Miller, defensive coordinator, talking about, quality and quantity. If you have depth, you're able to rotate people in. And then the starters are fresh, not only in the first quarter, but in the fourth quarter, because you're going to be rotating in. And when you think about some of the great teams that Coach Pete Richardson put on the field, that was kind of the philosophy. Depth, have plenty of depth, and have talent, of course. And so, just quite simply, Coach Dooley and staff, they're building, and particularly on the defensive side, which is most important. Offensively, it is what it is. We know what's going to happen there. But it was nice to chat with Andy Boykin Jr., the latest commitment to Southern University. Gonna take a timeout, then we're gonna kind of switch gears, Charles. NBA free agency, boy, did I get a lot of smack and digs last week. I was going back and looking at the comments, all in fun though, all in the fun about the Miami Heat. We took some shots at New York Knicks fans. NBA free agency. And also with Coach Pettaway, we'll talk about maybe swag basketball. Of course, with some new coaches coming in, and maybe we can frame it as the too early talk / prediction with HBCU and swag basketball. But it's always a pleasure to visit with Coach Pettaway. We'll visit with him next. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Can I get the now bar, please? $1. Have a good one.
Got it. Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Whether it's advice on managing your anxiety or tools to help you stay grounded, Coping-19 provides a range of resources and self-care tips to help you cope with this pandemic. We can help. Find the resources that work best for you at coping-19.org.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
This is Carlos Brown, letting you know that we're on the move. You can now catch the Carlos Brown Show beginning this July on the Black College Sports Network each and every Saturday from 11 to 1 Eastern Time. That's 10 to 12 Central Time. Same time, new place. On Facebook at the Carlos Brown Show and Black College Sports Network, online at www.mybcsn.net and on the BCSN app available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. Number 15?
Never not working.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Head & Shoulders scalp shield, never not working.
People that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching say, make this for my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like a day that's breezy. This motivation for the people and this classic Bible teaching, hey, 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 motivation.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Before I join next guest, Coach Van Pettaway, got this message. I want to say rest in peace to Grambling running back Cedric Skinner, who passed away Wednesday from Oakdale, Louisiana. So, wow, that's Rashard Anderson being one, and then Bradley Coleman, former Southern University athlete. And our thoughts and prayers go out to all of those and their families. Journey well. Coach Pettaway, good afternoon, and I'm coming right in blazing. When you were coaching at Alabama A&M in a predicted order of finish, you're going to see how I'm going to tie this in. I'm looking at some of the comments in the chat room, and very interesting comments. They said they don't want Southern to be picked, Charles, number one coming out of the West, when we were talking about early in the show about predicted order of finish, which we don't have a say-so in. But as a coach, Coach Pettaway, your coach in Alabama A&M is picked to win it all. How do you feel about that? Do you like that conversation about your team being picked, or you would rather them not?
Well, I use it as motivation either way. If you picked at the top, then you use it to let your players know that the other coaches feel like you're the best team. So you got to go out and practice like that. You got to go out and play like that. Then if they pick me toward the bottom, I use it as fuel. I said, they don't care anything about you guys. They don't think very highly of us. We got a lot of work to do. We got to prove them wrong. So then it becomes us against the world. So we use it both ways, but preseason polls, they don't mean a thing, man. The most important thing is who's in the top at the end. It's where you finish. It's not where you start. It's where you finish. And as coaches, they'll use different strategies during the course of the season to keep your team motivated. But that's if you're a competitive, if you like competing, if you like competition, you're going to always be ready for whatever way they pick you. It does not matter. You use it either way. At least I did.
Right. And Charles, that's interesting because I can look in the chat room and some Southern Knights are saying, no, we don't want to be picked first. Let somebody else be picked first. And I think that is the kind of the mindset because, certain schools, they're getting a lot of the inkling, the ink, the publicity. And guess what? A lot of that is because simply social media. They're very active on social media, and so you can look at it. I like Coach Pettaway's answer. You can look at that actually in two ways, Charles.
Absolutely. And look, we lived through it this past basketball season. Braves basketball was picked to finish 8th in the conference. And look at what happened. We won our first regular season championship in 20 years. So, and Coach Bussey did use it as fuel. Now he did put stuff up on the bulletin boards and all that, but he said, "Hey guys, just think what these guys think of you. They think you are fill in the blank. So hey, go out and prove it." And that's what they did.
Right. And I think that's great. And Carlos, when you're talking about some of the schools deserve the ink, they're putting themselves in a position to get the ink. I mean, that's just like this morning. I wake up, first thing you see is Jackson State having the XFL down there for the trials and that kind of stuff. That's them. That's Jackson State. That's Deion Sanders putting his program, putting Jackson State and those players in the forefront. You know, he's doing things, and we all benefit from it now. Even though it's on Jackson State's campus, they're a SWAC school. The SWAC benefits from all this exposure. Yeah, having the Rock and the ESPN cameras down there. I just think it's great. It carries over for the image of the SWAC. Then another thing that happened this week, our commissioner gets to be the head of the basketball committee in another year. All this is great publicity for the SWAC. I think Dr. McClellan has done an outstanding job, and the mere fact that they feel highly enough of him for him to be the chairman of the basketball committee, I think that's great, man. That is awesome. That's an awesome feather in the cap for the SWAC. It's great for our commissioner, and things are just looking up. The SWAC is just trending upward. So we should all be proud. Everybody that's a part of the SWAC should just be proud because we're headed in the right direction.
Headed in the right direction, guys. And just kind of looking at Southern, FAMU, and there's another institution I'm missing. But I'm going to tie this in, Coach. Enrollment is up big time. Housing problems at Southern, housing problems at FAMU, and it's another school I can't remember having the same problem, and it may be multiples even outside the conference. But the point is, HBCUs, you're right, are trending up. And Coach Pettaway, let's get into it even a little more. Dr. McClellan now on being able to be the number one person on that NCAA basketball committee. How huge is that for HBCU basketball and the Southwestern Athletic Conference?
Man, that is awesome, man. That's a great accomplishment. He's been on different committees for the NC2A. I can remember when we were when I was still coaching and when we first got into SWAC, he was the athletic director that sat in with men's basketball. He was our guy. He's always been involved in basketball, and in order for the conference to move up, it not only takes the commissioner, but some of the other coaches. They got to join some of the committees. One of the things that a lot of people didn't know, I just got off a committee. I've been representing the SWAC on the Basketball Ethics Coalition for a number of years. My tenure, had the longest ranked tenure of anybody else, and it just ended last May. So you got to do these type of things. You got to join the different committees. You're a part of this profession, and you should want to be more involved than just at your school. I think you had to broaden your horizons. And I wanted to get on as many committees as I could. I've been a congressman. I represented the SWAC as the Division I basketball congressman. I did all the things during my entire basketball career. I even did it when we were Division II. I was on the board of directors, and in fact, I lost my position when Alabama A&M moved up to Division I. I lost my seniority because then you have to start over again. So the SWAC is a conference, and I think more of our coaches need to get involved to continue this trend. Don't just let our commissioner be the sounding board. We need some other coaches, both male and female, in all sports, to be a part of the committees in their respective sports, and that's how you get recognition. That's how you keep the SWAC's name out there, and that's how you get respect for our league.
Charles.
Well, Coach, I'm gonna mess with you a little bit. When you first said congressman, I'm like, Coach Van Petaway into politics? I'm like,
He could do
whoa,
it.
wait, you're on the Carlos Brown show.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what you call when you represent a district in college basketball. They call you a congressman, and so I held that title for a number of years while I was in the SWAC. I came into it, and so it's just great. And then that's how you network, get to know other coaches. That's why scheduling was easy for me because a lot of the guys that I'm on the committees with, we scheduled each other. And it was easy. And they looked out for me. I was always the guy that spoke up for the small schools. And that's why the NC2 asked me to serve because they know I speak up. Because a lot of the rules that they have now, they're for the Power Five people. They forget about the little guys. And we can't keep up. We cannot keep the same pace as the Power Fives when it comes to how they legislate some of the things. In other words, the amount of money that's put into academics at some of the Power Five schools, some of us don't even spend that on our entire athletic department. And so when they put in a rule dealing with academics, but it's based on all the support that you have, that puts us at a disadvantage automatically. And I was always the sounding board to tell them that in order for us in some of our situations to get stuff done, they had to legislate it. They had to put it in. In other words, I told them, make it mandatory to be part of Division One, that you spend X amount of dollars on academics in your athletic department. And it's things like that that will help all of the programs, not just Alabama A&M, not just Jackson State. It helps everybody.
Coach Petaway, now with Dr. McClellan in the new position, and you remember how we talked about getting to a place where we don't have to be in the play-in all the time, and as a conference, we have to move up. How do you now tie that in with, if you can, but it still may be what we talked about before, that when I say we, the conference has to schedule better. But now with Dr. McClellan being, at that position, isn't it more incentive now for the conference to move up as far as getting out of those play-in games for the NCAA
Well,
tournament?
Whether Dr. McClellan got the position or not, the conference should be moving in that direction. See, we need to move out the product of the conference up. They rank, not only do they rank individual teams, they rank the conferences. And so we've got to move up by scheduling, by doing it with our basketball schedules. And what has to happen, we open the season up with 15 and 16 guarantee games because you're not giving yourself a chance. You're not giving yourself a chance. They look at the overall records in the conference in preseason and during the course of the year. That's how they rank our conference. And we're getting beat up because we play so many guarantee games that we have a terrible won-loss record going into conference play. And so now you're not playing enough high caliber teams in your conference to elevate the league. So it's got to come in the preseason schedule. We got to schedule less guarantee games play more regional games, beat people in our region. You got to win some of these games to raise the profile of the conference. That's what has to happen. But you're not going to win them when you're playing 10, 11, 12 straight road games. That's hard on your team. That's hard on the psyche of your team. You can have a good team for conference play, and they won't know it because they've been beaten down so bad in preseason. So the mental aspect, your mental health of your team is very important going into conference play.
Yeah. Well, still have some work to do. In other words,
Oh yes.
as far as the conference, and I understand some I don't like it, but director of athletics, and I'll reference this by saying with Coach Banks, he understands that just what you said, but he said Southern right now is not able to be where they need to be as far as they had to continue to kind of schedule those type of games. So I just kind of wondered if with Dr. McClellan and Charles has spoken on how he feels about of that as a conference as a whole. But that, as I wrap this up, that should be a continuous goal for our conference so we can elevate ourselves. Charles, you look like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in on that because I thought I was thinking the same thing you guys were thinking. And then I talked to our coach, Landon Bussey, about it. I'm like, Coach, would you rather be in the play-in game where you got to play your way in like Texas Southern did? They won the play-in and they played Kansas, one of the best teams in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Or would you rather just be a 16 going straight there through that route? And even the commissioner talked about it. Landon Bussey talked about it to me. He said, I would rather be in the playing game rather than be a 16 and play one of the top 4 teams in the country because that's where you're going to be. And so he said he would rather go through the play-in route where you're playing a game first and then you play your way in through that route. And the commissioner said from the coaches he's talked to, that's the route that they would prefer to go. So I was thinking the same way Coach Petaway and Carlos. But then when you talk to some of the coaches, at least our coach anyway, he prefers the playing route. And so it's just a matter of what other coaches in the league believe. But then you talk about scheduling, and the commissioner talked about not necessarily playing the Dukes and the Kansases of the world. I have our schedule already for the upcoming season, and we don't have any games at home in non-conference. Ole Miss, Wichita State, Stephen F., Arizona State, Grand Canyon, Tennessee, Southern Illinois, Seattle, Dayton, Minnesota after Christmas. That's our schedule. Our home opener is January 2nd against Jackson State. So that's just kind of where we are. And do I think it's going to change anytime soon from a financial perspective? If you talk to the ADs, probably not. I wonder how many teams are not going to play, but any games at home in non-conference, or maybe just a couple. I know our women's team's going to play 2 or 3, but I just, just based on my conversations and my attitude, and just talking with the other coaches about it and ADs, I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. I think they'll just take the financials and wherever we land in the NCAA tournament, whether it's a play-in, whether it's a 16, I would love to see us be a 13 or 14 seed. But in order to do that, you're going to have to play the Michigan States or some of the quad 2 teams or quad 3, and you're going to have to beat those teams as a conference, not just 1 or 2 teams. We got to do this thing, all 12 teams rowing in the same direction. And until that happens, we're going to be a play-in participant. Maybe some years if somebody goes 17-1, wins the whole thing, maybe a 16. But other than that, I don't see it.
Well, Coach Petaway, I'm going to respectfully, and I say respectfully, disagree. But those, and not what you, Charles, but from what you just said with the ADs and the coaches, Coach Petaway, I'm trying to fathom that play-in game. What is the record of the play-in games that associate with? Because I'm going to say I don't think we're that successful in the play-in games.
No.
Am I wrong?
No. We are more successful at the play-in games than we are going up against the 16 seed. No conference.
What do you think the record is?
Right. That's what I'm saying. So what they're saying is they have looked at how we have fared, how the SWAC has fared in the play-in games. We've won more of the play-in games than we've lost as a league. So that's where they're getting their win in. But once you win that game, you do have to go and play that 16 seed.
I mean, I'm trying to wrap my mind around that. I mean, you're going to face them either way. Now, there have been some exceptions, correct, where a 14 and a 15 seed, but that's been far in between of those. But very interesting, very interesting. But I don't even want to look at Southern schedule. But now that Charles says he's looked at Alcorn, I'm gonna look at that schedule, and I'm afraid I think it'll be a little bit better. But boy, once again, what is the incentive? What is the incentive? Besides, okay, yeah, I know you're making some money, but the chances of that team coming off a regular season championship, Alcorn Braves, and then you don't see them till conference play. Right. What incentive is it to come out and see it? And let's just be brutally honest. That record will be brutal.
Yep.
So I'm just hoping the mindset change. But as Charles stated, I'm not going to hold my breath. All of this will be great before that happens.
But Carlos, one of the things, now this would be an incentive for me as a coach. If my institution allowed me to give cost of attendance to my players, I play a couple games to raise that money. In other words, I would tell them, you don't have to give me the money. Just allow me to play 2 games so that we can give our kids cost of attendance. See, when you look at recruiting, this is where we're getting beat. You're not just getting beat by the NILs now. You're getting beat because they're giving out cost of attendance. And you add that with a kid who qualifies for Pell Grant, you're looking at about $10,000 that a kid could be putting in his pocket that a lot of us are not doing. And I didn't want to tell you all this because I didn't want you all to be jealous, but A&M will probably have about 5 games this year in the preseason.
Okay, say it again. 5 what?
The Alabama A&M men's basketball will have around 5 home games in November and December. I've already looked at
smart move by a new coach.
Yeah. Right. So he's doing some things to try to level the playing field. And the first thing he started out with is with his schedule. So they're waiting for a couple of more contracts before they can release their schedule. But I expect that from what I've seen, there are at least 5 home games already. So that will help them getting out the gate. New coach in a new place. So that should help.
Yeah, because once again, boy, and people will tell you, you should support no matter what the record is. I understand that. You come in 2-10, but there's always winning the conference. But guess what? You want to win outside the conference as well. Right. And I just think it's a missed opportunity. You coming off a regular season championship when you were picked 8th, but then they're torn. They have to raise money. So in essence, why not? And boy, cost of attendance. Me and Coach Banks talked about that on this show. That is something that Southern is really trying to do as we speak. But when we get Coach Banks back on, we'll talk more about that. But in my closing on that, I just think with the opportunity coming off a regular season championship, man, I would try to get some more home games.
Right.
But
get
that's just me.
Yep.
That's just me. On that note, let's quickly anything you want to talk about? Any NBA free agency? Charles said that Durant will be at Miami. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, no, he's not. He's not going to Phoenix. He's not going to Phoenix now. With them re-signing Aiden during the match
who
Indiana.
was a
See, this is what you
restricted
got to
free
look at it.
agent.
Okay, now here's what you got to look at now. Indiana put them in a bad situation. When they made that offer, now Phoenix had to match it. Well, what that does, that gives them less leverage to get Durant in Phoenix. It's going to even be tougher now for Phoenix to try to work out a deal to get him there. So it's so Miami does have a good shot at it. I think the Pelicans got a good shot at getting Durant. And then it might be like the people have been saying all week, because of the way with that 4 years left on his contract, he might end up starting the season back in Brooklyn. So I think this thing is a long ways from being over with. This free agency this year is crazy. And with Brooklyn still having Durant and Irving out there, Kyrie, that's going to be tough, man. It's tough to move him just because he wants to be traded. It doesn't always mean that it's going to happen right away because there are too many moving pieces, too many moving parts.
It's going to be interesting as we wrap this up. Then Donovan Mitchell. I know we had Roy on last week, and he, if you can get Durant, get Durant. But his name now is still servicing for the Miami Heat, the Knicks. Oh, when do you think we'll find out an answer to all this?
I
Before
don't
the
think it's going to
season
happen
starts?
anytime soon. What do you say, Charles?
I'm more beginning to believe that Durant will probably open the season in Brooklyn. I think Kyrie will still wind up in LA, but I do think it's between the Lakers and LeBron James, really, because the Lakers are going to have to give up so much to get Kyrie. You don't know how long LeBron's going to stay in LA. If LeBron went to Jeannie Buss and said, look, if you bring Kyrie here, I will be a Laker for as long as you need me to be. I think they'll make that trade happen. But I think there's some reluctance because of LeBron. LeBron wants to play with his son. And I think, the time frame is matching up to wherever his son is drafted, LeBron wants to play with his son, wherever that may be. Maybe a Laker. I don't know. I think there's a lot more going on there as far as the Lakers are concerned. I don't know how many other teams at this point want to go in with the whole Kevin Durant thing. It's going to take more than two teams. It's going to take a third team, maybe a fourth team. Right. What other teams out there are going to be willing to exhaust themselves to be a part of this thing? And I think that's kind of the reluctance. That's why everything is frozen right now. So a week ago, I said Miami because Jimmy Bucket said, I want Donovan Mitchell and I want Kevin Durant. You make it happen, Pat Riley. Hadn't happened. So I'm beginning to believe right now that Kevin Durant might still be in Brooklyn. I'm beginning to believe a little bit that Kyrie might be as well. But I do think that the Lakers will probably give in, get another team involved, and get Kyrie to LA because LeBron wants it. And LeBron's not going to sign an extension until Kyrie Irving is a Laker.
And I think the door has been open. Westbrook just fired his agent because he didn't feel like his agent was working to help him get out of LA. And his agent talked about them having differences over this matter. He feels like Kyrie should stay in LA. And I know why, because he knows that his percentage is based on that 47 he's supposed to be getting this coming year. So I think this thing is a long ways from being over with, and the dominoes are not going to really fall into place until they figure out about Durant.
Well, I know he's a game changer. The question again, and you addressed it last week, are you willing to deconstruct your roster to the point to add a piece, or if you're close to a title like a Boston, a Phoenix Suns, or a Miami Heat, do you do that to break it up, or you just add you move on, add another piece where you can, and try to make that next step and get to the championship and win it. Coach Petaway, it is going to be as the basketball world turns. It's a soap opera.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. But, Coach, as always, I enjoyed talking with you, your perspective on all of this. And we'll bring you back again next week. You can talk more than just basketball. So
Yeah,
you and your
okay.
family continue to stay safe and stay blessed.
Okay. Hey, thank you, guys. Everybody stay safe and God bless.
God bless. That was Coach Van Petaway. We're going to take a quick time out. My last guest of the day, he's ready to step in. He's been waiting a few minutes. And, you know, in the last couple of weeks, I've had Luke Jackson, Southern University field goal kicker. We had Braxton, the long snapper. Now we're going to talk with Robins Beauplan. He has a plan. He's a punter for Southern University. He joins us next. You're watching, after just a quick timeout, you're watching the Coles Brown Show on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be right back.
I'm returning to Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on? Sure. It's wireless.
Pick something we all like.
Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable.
That's a really tight spot.
Don't worry. I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Next guest who holds a very important position on the football team, Mr. Beauplan, Robins Beauplan, punter for Southern University. Good afternoon, Robin. A pleasure to have you on the Coles Brown Show.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. It's an honor to be here, man. I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited because I've been seeing you, your video on social media, punting the ball. If I didn't know any better, if I didn't know, I would say, hey, this guy is not a punter. He's built like a football player. But talk about your journey, your decision on coming to Southern University, and you know the guy that's also on the screen, Charles Edmond from Alcorn State University. So talk about coming from one SWAC institution now to another, Southern University.
Yes, sir. Like I always say, man, everything's happens for a reason. And after the season last year, during the break, Christmas break, I had some things to take care of back home that kind of sidelined me a little bit for the spring, where I couldn't participate for spring ball. I had some things going on where I didn't even know if I was gonna play football this year. Honestly, it was some things that I had to take care of, and things happened, and I'm here now at Southern University. But there were some things that happened that I needed to be home, and unfortunately, I couldn't be there for the Braves. and we both had to part ways. But like I said, man, all love for Braves family. I enjoy the time out there. Thankful for the coaches out there that give me an opportunity from JUCO. I mean, it's tough to make it out of JUCO, and for them to give me an opportunity to play Division One football, which has been a dream of mine since I was in high school. I'll always be fortunate for them, and I'm thankful.
Well, it's important, yeah, and I understand that sometimes things happen with family, and you have to take care of that. Um, Looking at your video that you posted, your work ethic, very very strong, as we can see as the footage comes up. Working at night at A.W. Mumford Stadium.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
Talk about your work ethic. How important is it to work hard and steady improve on your craft, which is punting?
I mean, honestly, like you say, it's work ethic. That's always been the main thing for me. I mean, I had a late start in football. I didn't start playing football until I was my senior. I mean, the spring of my junior year. That's when I started playing football. So I had a late start. So I had to really quickly adjust to the American football because all I've been playing was soccer my whole life. Um, and there was a lot of guys in the country that was like top ranked in my class where I had to compete against. So for me to kind of catch up to where they were at, I had to really put a lot of work in. Summer with my coaches back home, like really go above and beyond because I had a late start, so I had to try to catch up with those guys. And come senior year, I started developing very well. And unfortunately, after senior year, I couldn't really go straight to college ball. I went to college ball, but I didn't go Division One. I went to junior college, and even out there, I had to really work my butt off because, as you know, in JUCO ball, you gotta really work hard because every guy's out there just trying to make it out. It's not a place you can get comfortable. You gotta really go be out there and really want it. Especially in Mississippi football, you can only have 10 out of state scholarships, and for them to put it on a kicker and punter, you gotta really earn it. And I had to walk on and work my butt off the summer at Essential Community College. I'll always be thankful for the coaches out there also. I mean, coming out senior year, it was tough. I wasn't really highly recruited. I was recruited by some schools, but they weren't really giving me scholarship and stuff. So I had to really believe in myself, go to JUCO, walk on, and unfortunately, thanks to the Lord above, I earned a scholarship out there after the summer camp, and I had 2 great seasons there. I went All American in JUCO and made a name for myself, where I was committed to UAB at first, but then some things happened between the coaching staff and stuff, and I ended up decommitting. And my next opportunity was at Alcorn, where me and Coach Jason Phillips we built a really great relationship throughout COVID and stuff. That was the main guy that I was really contacting with at Alcorn. We got really close until this day. I know I'm not at Alcorn, but I'm still thankful for Coach Jason Phillips. And the other day, thanks to him on his birthday. So he's still a guy that I respect, and I'm thankful for him for helping me to get out Alcorn. And like I said, man, I'm not at Alcorn anymore as a player, but I'll always be thankful for them.
No, I understand it. And Charles, I think the decision probably is easier maybe when you have some experience by Mr. Beauplain being at Alcorn State. The transition may be a little bit easier, knowing Southern University, of course, in the conference, played against them. How did Southern reach out to you, or did you reach out to Southern without getting into too many intricate details about it? Which way was it?
So what happened was my plan was to go back to the Braves, but honestly, they didn't know whether or not I would be go back. I'd be back to with the Braves to like really be there as a punter for them. So I understand the part of them. They didn't know if I was gonna go back, so it's like they had to find another punter. So they found another punter,
Mhm.
and so I had to. That's why I stayed. I stayed home still, try to do what I got to do to take care of what I had to take care of. And once they found a punter, I was like, man, really, I don't want to pay for schools. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I had to find another scholarship somewhere else, and I ended up entering my name in the transfer portal with the hope of getting another opportunity to go somewhere. I had a lot of these two schools reaching out to me, but it's crazy. Like I said, man, everything's happened for a reason because one of the coaches here on staff now that just came with the head coach, Eric Dooley, like he he was my coach in JUCO. He was one of my coaches in JUCO, so he knows about me the
Okay.
whole and how things goes and stuff like that. So he was a Prairie View at first, and I knew they had a partner at Prairie View, so I didn't reach out and stuff. But once I saw, like I said, I really keep up with all my coaches in the past. I still have
Mhm.
a great contacts with them. So when I saw him post that he was going to Southern, I was like, I look at the roster, Southern they have a punter. I was like, okay, that's a perfect opportunity. So I reached out to them. He told me he was new in the staff, so he didn't know how things gonna go yet. So I had to wait, see how things goes here. And fortunately, yeah, I sent him my films, and the other coaches like my film as well. I remember against Grambling State, Grambling, and one of the defensive coaches at Grambling, which is Coach Graves, and which is now my session coordinator here at Southern University. I had a really great
Yep.
game when we played them at the homecoming last year at Alcorn against Grambling. I had like 2 or 3 punts inside the five, so that was really a great game for me. So he knew about me, and once I sent him my films here, it was a no brainer. They offered me a scholarship, and I had other opportunities also. But when I came here to visit, the family here, the family atmosphere really sold me, and like I said, man, I'm excited to take on that opportunity, and I can't wait to play for them. And like I said, though, I'm still thankful for the Braves, though.
Yeah. And speaking of Grace Charles,
Man, it's so much to unpack, man. It's good to see you. Talk about just your first collegiate experience in terms of the SWAC and Alcorn and what you learned there. Some of the tools that you acquired there as you continue your journey at Southern University.
I mean, it was a lot to attack, honestly. I mean, the swag is really it's really a fun place to play. I mean, we're talking about the fans. They really pack the stadiums. I mean, let's talk. There's some bigger FCS schools, right? Like than the SWAC, but they don't pack the stadiums like the SWAC fans do. You know what I'm saying? So like being at home, I remember it's like Braves that packed the stadium. It was really fun. So playing in front of a lot of fans was really exciting for me. And when I went to Alcorn, also I had to adjust my game a little bit to the Braves, where I had to change the way I punt and stuff. But that's the things that's gonna help me in the long run. So things that I learned that I didn't have in my arsenal, so I added that, and I think that's gonna help me become a better punter this year and for the years to come also.
Yeah,
what's the
I want to
easiest?
follow up quickly
Oh,
with
go
you.
ahead. I'm
If
sorry.
we
Go
talk
ahead.
about, I'm sorry, Carlos.
No, go ahead.
JUCO. And I've often wondered. You said that it's tough to get out of. It's tough being in JUCO and getting out of JUCO and getting to that next level. Just talk about a little bit the difficulties of that because you hear a lot of players coming from JUCO. You're saying the route is really, really hard. Talk about how tough it is when you're a JUCO player getting those offers and moving to the next level.
Um, the reason why I say stuff is because really you don't have time to be complacent and like really like chill honestly in JUCO. You have to really be on your feet, really trying to work every single day, trying to prove to other coaches that you're really the guy. Because you gotta remember, like out of high school, they pass on you for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to prove them. Why would they give you another shot? You know what I'm saying? Why would they give you a shot to go play at another level? You gotta show them that you improve as a let's say some players gotta improve as a person. Some players gotta improve in their games. It's just like there's different guys. It's either like some guys messed up in the past and they gotta prove that they become a better person. Or where me, I just had to show that I got better as a punter and kicker. So it's just there's different aspects on it. But you gotta really go out and really show the coaches because honestly, the main guys they used to right now, coaches are recruiting in JUCO a lot more. But in the past, it was more like
Mhm.
the high school guys they give the chances and stuff. But so when I was playing, I had to show the coaches that I'm worth a scholarship. You know what I'm saying? I'm worth giving a chance to. So it's just work my butt off every single day, get better, and reaching out to coaches, man. Reaching out to coaches is a journey as well. I remember I had to reach out to at almost every college in the country, and really because there's so many of us, so many athletes in the country, it's hard to get in touch with those coaches, and especially for specialists, because you don't need too many specialists, honestly. You only need about like one or two. So it's like, it's even harder for us because, like I say, you don't need too many of us. So it's just being consistent every morning. I had made it part of my plan where I wake up. First thing I do is pray. I pray, and then before I even got out of bed, you just sent my text messages to coaches on Twitter. So you really got to be consistent in sending your films out, and also be patient. That's one thing JUCO teach you too, is be patient, because they don't really recruit the JUCO guys too early, so you got to be patient and wait for your time and stuff.
Very interesting. Hear you talking about that, and you know, importance of special teams. You know, I said earlier, and it was interesting that you said specialists, but back in the day, way before your time, you had one guy, the field goal kicker, punting, kicking off, doing all of that. But now you have specialists. Talk about the importance of special teams, and then your relationships with the other special teams members. I've had Luke Jackson on the show, Braxton, you, and now I got one more person to reach out with, Mr. Griffin, who Charles knows as well. But just talk about that importance of special teams play, the new special teams
Mhm.
play where you have specialists.
Yeah. So it's really important. Like all three of us, I mean all four of us, long snapper, all of us are important. Honestly, I mean we all do the certain part of the job that when you add them together, that's what makes them great. I mean, Luke Jackson is a great field goal kicker, where my field goal is not as good as Luke Jackson, or like, and Luke Jackson is not as good as a punter as me. So it's like we need all of us together. It's just you do your part, I do my part. So when we add them together, that's what makes a great special teams group. You know what I'm saying? So we all specialists in our 1 of 11. That's why me and my coaches in high school, we kind of call it. It's just we do your 1 of 11, which is Luke Jackson's 1 of 11. Is just to do the field goal part. I'll do the holding part, and Braxton's gonna do the long snapping part. So when you add them together, it's just equal to the special teams group. And honestly, we gotta really have a great. Uh, we gotta be close to each other, like where we trust each other and stuff. Like I gotta make sure I earn Luke's trust too. He knows that no matter where the snap is, I'm gonna go get it and put it down there for him, where he's gonna trust that he's gonna be there every single time and be comfortable and just go out there and do his steps and put the field goal through. And we Josh Griffin, we know, like, I mean, I call him Mr. Touchbacks. I'm not gonna lie, these dudes probably have one of the biggest kickoff legs I've seen in college football so
Yeah.
far. When I came here, I mean, there's different schemes as well. When I played against him last year, I didn't know he could do kickoffs like that, because they were doing push kicks, which is try to push the ball like inside the
Mhm.
25, just place it there. But we have a different coaches, different schemes and stuff like that. Now he can really, I feel like he can really elevate to where he can be like the best of Josh Griffin. I mean, this guy we talking about, like, he's putting kickoffs like 15 deep, and with great hang time. So it's like we need Josh, because I can do what Josh can. You know what I'm saying? Luke cannot do what Josh can do in the kickoff side. So it's like we need all of us together to put a great special team group, and the fact that we trust each other is gonna help us in the long run too when it comes to a game winner. Like he's gonna believe that I'm gonna put the ball down, and he's gonna believe that Braxton's gonna put the snap where it's supposed to be. And we believe in the kicking as well. So whoever's kicking is gonna go out there and do their job every single time.
You talk, Charles. He talked about how sometimes things change and for a reason. And the importance of special team play is very important. I talked about this earlier. Southern struggled with Alcorn State. But then last year, that special team play, that last second field goal, Southern University defeats Alcorn. So you see how it's important. Um, Robin, what was that experience like? Because you were with the other team then, and Luke just nails that. I know how Charles feels. So you look at his face now. But talk about that
I
last year.
remember.
Did you ever think you would be back on that field?
It's crazy. Like that's what I was saying. Like how I'm saying, like life can come at you fast, man, and things can change. And like this, it's pretty quick. And I remember in that play when Luke was about to do the field goal, I think I was under 30. I was on my knees just down, looking at his steps, and I was like, okay, hold up, 47. Can he hit that? I was just thinking about all the things he's about to do. And I remember we tipped the ball as well. We tipped the ball, and I heard the pop. Like I heard the pop. I was like, yeah, he's not gonna make that. And I just see the ball just keep on going. I was like, no way, he just hit that. It was just crazy play, man. Props to Luke. That was a really ice cold kick. Like let's be honest. This guy, he had to have ice in his veins to hit it. That was a really great play. But I was on the other side. I was like, man. And now I'm in his side. He's kind of crazy. I mean, but all things happens for a reason, man. Hopefully you can keep it going though, and keep winning
Oh,
though.
look at Charles. Charles. Charles,
Hopefully we
okay,
can win
we're
against
going to move
Auburn
off
this
of
year
that,
again.
Charles. Charles, we're gonna move off of that.
Ruben, man, you have just ruined my day. I was having a good day until you said all of that.
Oh man,
but,
let's just be honest though. Mhm.
no,
That
I'm just
night
saying
though, I
because
didn't sleep well. I was thinking about it the whole time. I'm like, man, he just hit that kick. I was thinking about it the whole time, but now I don't have to think about it no more because I'm on the other side. So
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I've been on the other side too. Charles knows very well on the at Alcorn and SWAC championship, man. Just leaving off the field and fireworks. You know, I took off out of that press box, but once again, the importance of special team play. It can win you a game or two, or it can lose you a game or two. And your special teams coach, Coach Graves, he told me they were going to take care of the issues with special teams. Now being the associate head coach and special team coach at Southern University, talk about Coach Graves. I know him as a very intense guy. Has he mellowed any uh, since you've been knowing him?
so the thing is, I haven't seen his intense side yet, cause
Uh-oh.
honestly, we've been in summer camp. It's just been conditioning and weightlifting every morning and stuff like that. We haven't been in the field as far as like as a team, like where we keep kicking, field goals, punting, all the stuffs yet. So I haven't seen his intense yet, but I've heard of it, and I've watched some of the highlights from years that like he had coached. I've seen it like on TV, but I haven't seen it up close yet. So I'm gonna see a tune-up in August. But like I said, man, but he's a great guy though. Throughout the whole recruiting process, man, I was talking to him. Um, he seems like a really great man, and I'm excited to play for him. And looking at his past, he has coached some really great specialists, man. He have a
Mhm.
really long history of great specialists that he has coached, that have gone to have great careers. And also last year at Grambling, his kicker had like special teams MVP. I think no, I think well, yeah, special
Mhm.
teams MVP for the Bayou Classic game, and also I think his kicker also won all conference. And then the past years also when he used to be at Grambling, he had great kickers. Past years at Southern also had great kickers. So I'm just excited to learn from him and hopefully be one of the great kickers that he has coached and. Uh, add to his history, man, of great specialists that he has coached, and keep that going for him.
Charles, if you would like, last question. I think you've recovered from the
No, I
conversation about the
haven't.
All-Pro game
No, I
last
have
week.
not.
No last question?
No, I have not. No, I have not. I have not recovered. No, no, sir.
Okay.
No,
Hey,
I have
sorry,
not.
Charles, man. Like I said though, no hard feelings, man. I
Oh
still
no,
love the
no,
Braves, man.
no.
I still love the Braves.
Oh
He'll be
no,
up. He'll be all right.
I completely understand. I completely understand. This has nothing to do with you. Trust me. I understand what you I understand what you got going. And look, I wish you the best of luck. Just talk about that game, man, because we're coming back to the Bluff again. We're coming to A.W. Mumford Stadium again. What is that game going to be like for you?
Honestly, I don't know how to think about it. I think we're just gonna have to wait and see how everything plays out and stuff like that. Like I said, I have to go into that game and take the brave side out of me. You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta play for Southern University Jaguar now. And but like I said though, I still have coaches on the staff that I respect and love and thankful for the opportunity they give me. So it's gonna be the first time I've gone against a team that I used to play against. So that's gonna be an adjustment. But I'm excited about it though, man. And look forward to it. I look forward to seeing those coaches, and I look forward to go out there and be on the other side and try to give them hell and put them in a bad bad position, put them and have them going 90 yards, 80 yards, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Try to do my job and show them that they invested well in me when I was in the past also, and that I'm not gonna let them down here also. Like they got me there because they believed in me, so I gotta keep proving that the guy that brought at Alcorn is still the same guy that and afterwards we're gonna shake hands and I'd say, hey man, thanks again for the opportunity.
There you go, HBC family. But I often say you want to win and be competitive, and you want to beat your opponents. And it's interesting that you say that. Yeah, you have to block it out, and afterwards, hey, then you could be friends afterwards.
Of
Um,
course.
Sometimes a lot of punters, and I've seen over in the past, they after they get off a great punt or after they get off a punt, they have to protect themselves. Have you ever in your playing career had to make a bone crushing tackle, or were you the last man to stop
Honestly,
a punt returner from scoring?
honestly, that was one of the things I had to adjust to last year. Because I remember on my whole career, I've never had a punt return against me. High school, never had a punt return against me. Went to JUCO, played 2 years, All American, never had a punt return against me. I remember in JUCO, we had the best coverage team in the country, where the returners only returned about like 5 yards against us. We never had all those guys. All I used to see was fair catch or like they'll try to run it, but they probably get like 5 yards or negative yards against it. And first game of the season last year too, at Alcorn, they had a punt return against us. It was the thing that I had to adjust to. It's like, whoa, it's like, you know what I'm saying? The Division One life is different. It's crazy. Is a thing I had to adjust and get better at. But let's just say I got close to tackling that guy against him last year when we played the first game, but I wasn't close enough. But in high
Right.
school, the only times I had to make tackles really was in kickoff when I was doing kickoff. But like I said, for punts, I never had a punt return against me until last year. I learned I had one return against me. But let's just hope that that never happens again, man. I never want to see that again because, like I said, it's a thing that I wasn't used to. To see that happen was just crazy, and I made sure
Yeah.
last year though to make sure that didn't happen. And again, and try to do my part. And I'm gonna keep learning from what I did last year. Also, when they returned that against me, to bring that with me at Southern University to make sure that I do the things that I know not to do. That's gonna cost, you know what I'm saying, the team a touchdown and stuff like that. So try to do my part and try to help the guys with my defense and the best field percentage to try to go ahead hold the other offense and stuff.
Hang time is important and directional punting. I saw in the footage, practicing on, everyone thinks about, oh, that's a booming punt, which is good, a touchback. But directional punting, pinning the opponent inside the 5, that's a great thing. And that last question I asked you, great answer, because if you are tackling, that means the punt return
You're not doing
coverage
good. Yeah.
is not where it needs to be. So great answer, great answer. Boakland, thanks for joining us. It was very interesting talking with you. Uh, Appreciate you coming on the show. Have a great fall camp, rest of your summer conditioning, and we'll see you soon
Thanks again.
on the board.
Yeah, thanks
Okay,
again for having
appreciate
me,
it.
guys. And good seeing you again, Charles. Like I said, man, all love, and I can't wait to see you when you guys come. When you guys come in the bluff, man, I'll be welcoming you guys in the bluff, And afterwards, hopefully, I can see you afterwards and shake your hands and welcoming you again. And like I said, say hi to the Braves guys for me. I'm thankful, and thanks again, Carlos, for giving me the opportunity to come in the show. It's a great opportunity. And I talked to Josh yesterday also. He's expecting to be in the show next, so he's excited about it. He said he can't wait. So like I said, thanks again,
Yeah,
guys. Appreciate it.
appreciate
Wish
it.
you all
Tell
the best,
Josh
man.
he will get a text, and can't ever say that. Hey, special teams. A lot of people don't talk about them, but they're very important, and you have to have great special teams play. Appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day and weekend.
Most definitely. Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
All right, thank you. That was Robins playing. Haitian background, I would imagine. Uh, I tell you what, uh, outstanding young man, and I can see the love Charles he had for Alcorn State and now at Southern University. So it's great to just kind of talk with him and see how he is as a person.
He was really good for us, Carlos. I mean, especially in those coffin corner kicks. He was
Hmm.
really, really good at it. And, things happen for whatever reason. You move on. He's landed somewhere. And that, he was a really good kicker for us. And so he's landed somewhere in the SWAC. We'll be looking at him fairly soon and looking forward to seeing him.
As we wrap up this edition, um, as I look for my phone, here we go. I just kind of want to peep in the chat room real quick and kind of see some acknowledgments. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Derek Banks, Edwin Dwight Moore. I just gave his whole name out. Kawani, appreciate you. Johnny Johnson, James Walter, Michael Cavalier, Kedrick Gibson, Varick was watching. Rube Hogan. Rube was one of the guys that said, I hope Southern University is not picked first. And that was interesting because I guess if you're not picked first, you kind of come up on the teams that are picked first. And then, of course, I guess it is more pressure, Charles, if you get picked the first or second team or first team, even your all SWAC team, your predicted order of finish, all of that. But at the end of the day, it's just for conversational purposes. But at the end of the day, of course, it's going to be played on the field, and then you have something that you can reference and look back to, and then at the end of the season, see what all the predictions, where did they fall. So I guess
All the
being a SWAC, go ahead.
What I was going to say, with all the movement, with players on the move, coaches on the move, new head coaches, I think this could be a pretty tough ballot on the Western side. I think we already kind of know what the East is going to look like. You talked about it early in the show, the top two, Jackson, FAMU. But then, 3 through 6, how would you rank those? Then on the Western side, even 1 through 6, how would you rank those with new coaches, new players on the move? Bethune-Cookman, Jalen Jones is now at Bethune-Cookman. He was at Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going to factor into it? So I think it's going to be an interesting ballot with the new coaches. You got new SIDs too. So I'm anxious to see where these teams fall.
Well, predicted order finish is forthcoming at SWAC Football Media Day. Going to have a lot of media there. Even one of your personal favorites is going to be there for that I can remember for the first time. Well, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Charles. You know who that is? Roland Martin's gonna be there. There's gonna be a lot of people there, but I'm just gonna enjoy everything. Work. The Black College Sports Network is gonna be there, and if we do like last year, we're gonna have our predicted order finish as well up on the screen. So looking forward to visiting with all the colleagues here on the Black College Sports Network. Brian Fulford, A.D. Drew, Roy Evans, Dr. Kenyatta Cavill, Charles Bishop, Neely. I may have to make an appointment for Neely. Yeah, he's real famous now. But I knew him when he was famous off the media platform. So it'll be good just to see all of them. Brandon B.J. Jones, everybody. So I look forward to it. I'm going to pray for God's speed. I'll be leaving out Wednesday morning. And I talked about staying 2 nights. Not going to be able to do it. So I'll do my usual pilgrimage. I'll leave about 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock Thursday, heading back to Baton Rouge, a 5 hour and 15-minute drive. But for me, the heavy foot, 5 hours, top time. So looking forward to it. See how the predicted order finishes go. And then before you know it, in about a couple of weeks, 2 weeks now, it'll be fall camp, the start of fall camp across the conference. Also, Charles, I'm sure the discussion, and when the tape is not on, is when I find that you get a lot of information, because sometimes they may not want to talk about certain things, but conference realignment, that talk is going to happen. Social media now more prevalent to branding your university. Sure, that topic is going to be talked about. NIL. It's just going to be a lot of topics to discuss. Just a lot. So I'm looking forward to it. Closing comments, Charles.
I think all that's on the table. I'm looking forward to talking to the commissioner, especially with his new appointment and where the SWAC is headed. This HBCU super conference, and even Coach Sanders said it today in that XFL trial that they had. Like, some schools, maybe you're either going to get with it, or you're going to get left behind. I think I'll definitely ask him about that. At Media Day. I'm just looking forward to just talking with the new coaches, Eddie Robinson Jr., Hugh Jackson. The rumor is Grambling might have 6 quarterbacks on the roster. I'm going to ask him that. I think it's fair game. He might deny it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Actually, who's going to start? That's the bigger question.
You're probably not going to get anything from. You're probably not going to get that,
right? But you have to ask the question.
Yes, absolutely. It doesn't hurt to ask. I think any coach right now, other than maybe Texas, Jackson State, Florida A&M, maybe UAPB, those other 8, I think it's kind of up in the air in terms of who their starting quarterback's going to be. So you want to wait and see how that plays out. So it doesn't hurt to ask for sure. Alcorn, of course, you don't know who the start is going to be. Is it Aaron Allen, or is it Quinn? We don't know, but it won't hurt to ask. So those are the questions I'm gonna ask, and just looking forward to seeing everybody. It's going to be probably several hundred. I want to know how many media requests were put in. 500 maybe? I don't know. I'll ask Andrew Roberts, the SWAC office, about that. But all kinds of podcasts, off script, and Roland Martin. I've never met Roland Martin. Looking forward to just meeting him off script, and some other folks that, maybe Donald Ware. I don't know. We'll see. Who's who? Who knows? So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
On that note, I want to thank Charles Edmond, Andy Boykin Jr., Coach Van Pettaway, Robins Bowplaying guest on today's show. Also producer behind the scene, Miss Melody. Miss Melody. She is a melody. Great job. And for those who are watching, by the way, let's see. I think I forgot one more person. Chuck Hunt, a loyal watcher to the Coles Brown Show and Black College Sports Network, and also Coach Graves tuning in. Appreciate it. Until next Saturday. And by the way, next Saturday we'll have all of the predictions and all of that predicted auto finish, first team, second team, third team, player of the year, coach of the year, all of that to discuss right here on the Coles Brown Show. Until next time, as always, peace and God bless. Go Jags, go Swag.
Go Braves.